Hey guys, this is Spencer with Trucktown here, and today we're going to talk about some basic half fender install procedures. What we've learned that works pretty good on most setups through the years. Each truck's a little bit different according to suspension style, tire size, and fifth wheel height. It's not rocket science, but there are a few things you want to think about as you go through this process. What we like to do at the beginning is dump the air out of the suspension in the truck, so that you have that frame at the lowest point that it's going to be, because that fender is going to ride with the frame, so to speak. And this will allow you to define or find the lowest that you can put that fender without it touching the tire, but still with the maximum fifth wheel clearance that it can have. You also want to account for tread depth as you do this. So with that air out of the suspension, we would use this long board to give us a little bit of space in between the tires. And then we have this handy dandy flat jack here on the front with some spacers. You can use jack stands or a floor jack. Just it helps a lot if you keep it level to position that fender kind of where you want it to be. So after you have it figured out where it's going to sit, you also kind of want to look at the arc and make sure, if it matters to you, that the distance around the arc of the tire is kind of going to match the arc of the fender to the arc of the tire. And that's kind of defined with the air up again, but from now, at the beginning, we're working with the air down. Your next step is going to be figuring out where to mount these boogers with the mounts. There's lots of mounts out there today in the market. We carry several different brands, Merit trucks, Hogue Built, couple others, and we use different setups on different trucks, because what you want to do is try and not have to drill the frame. Drilling the frame is not very fun. It's not hard, but it takes extra time, wears out drill bits, stuff like that. So what we have here on the back, we were able to position this fender and then use a Merit swivel mount or easy mount and find an existing hole in the frame to bolt that baby up to. And this rear mount is going to pivot around that until it's tight, which allows you to adjust the height of the back of this fender. So you can tip it up, tip it down, tip it right even, whatever you need to do. There's several different options of height on these easy mounts from Merit, and then there's also options out there from Hogue Built trucks that are different designs, but they all kind of do the same thing. But ideally you want to find an existing hole and try and miss that spring hanger. Now it's the same general idea when you move up front to the front hanger. This particular setup is using a Hogue Built suspension specific, which is going to bolt right into that spring hanger. The regular tube style a lot of times will pull this fender too far forward to where you're going to have a big gap in between the tire and the fender. So we try to find that sweet spot of where all these things can match up. The other little bit of advice that we would have is you want to try ideally to mount this at the lowest point in the fender that you can, because the more area that you have down here against this bottom mount, the more leverage you have on wind resistance going down the road. So some of those lower drop fenders get a little bit trickier with figuring out the mounts, or you just have more leverage and the fender sometimes doesn't last as long. There's a lot of options out there for front mounts as well. There's some that are adjustable that pivot around a single mounting hole, similar to that rear mount like we talked about. That'd be like the Merit Lelocks, some of the Merit offset stuff. There's also some suspension specific stuff out now that's really awesome. It's gonna tie into this spring hanger on the back bolts and kind of drop out a piece of metal that comes out and mounts on the back side of those fenders. That's one of my favorites right now. But long story short, you kind of get what you pay for on mounts. Cheaper mounts are great, they will work, but they can be a little bit tougher to install. And if you pay a little bit more, you can get something that's friendlier on the install and quality and lasts a little bit longer. That's pretty much all I got for today's video, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and talk to us on social media. Give us a call at 785-460-8785. Visit us at www.semitruck.com, or in person here in Colby, Kansas. We're right on Interstate 70, exit 53 and 54 on the south side. I'll pull these out and just give you a finished look. Those really turned out well. Have a great day. Be safe out there.